You're watching The Ryan Silverfield Show, presented by AutoZone.
The Big Easy proves to be just a little bit too much for the Tigers as they fall on the road against Tulane. We'll look back at the game against the Green Wave, sit down with this year's breakout star on offense, and look ahead to a bye week. It's The Ryan Silverfield Show. Let's go.
The game is on.
The Ryan Silverfield Show is presented by AutoZone. When you've got car trouble, you want help from number one. So if you've got a battery problem, head to AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone, AutoZone. And by Conway Services, the official HVAC partner of Tiger Athletics. Chick-fil-A, we didn't invent chicken, just the chicken sandwich. RJ Young, technology solutions that power your business. Tennessee Lottery, turning dollars into dreams.
Now we know why Tulane is ranked number 25 in the country. It's always tough to play in New Orleans. Hi, everybody. I'm Dave Woloshin.
And I'm Jarvis Greer. For the highlights, here's Matt Enfield.
Memphis beat the Green Wave last year, looking for their first win in New Orleans since 2016. The leader of the defense, Quindell Johnson, back in the lineup for the Tigers. One man can only do so much, though. Not the greatest start to the game for Memphis. First drive of the game, Tulane goes 80 yards in 11 plays. Michael Pratt caps it off with a QB keeper from 6 yards out. 7-0 Green Wave. Tigers couldn't really get much going on either side in the first half. 28-0 Green Wave in the final minute before halftime. Pratt finds Deuce Watts for another short touchdown. Tigers down 35-0 at halftime. One of those situations where you either lay down or you fight, and Memphis chose the latter. First drive of the third quarter, Seth Hennigan finds Kobe Drake for the 7-yard touchdown, the first of his collegiate career. Memphis on the board, 35-7. Now 38-21 with under 5 to play in the fourth. Seth Hennigan and Eddie Lewis keeping cool under pressure. QB rolling to his right and finds the New York native who has reservations for 6 from 55 yards out. Second touchdown of the game for him. Now 38-28, and crazier things have happened. But the Tigers just ran out of time. Under 30 seconds to play, still down 10. Hennigan going to the end zone, but he's picked off as the Tigers outscored Tulane 28-3 in the second half, but fall 38-28. Let's get some post-game reaction.
At halftime, Quindell, he got us all up as a team, and he kind of spoke to us motivationally, and I definitely took it to heart just because he's a senior. It's his last year, and really I play for guys like that, guys who have put in the work their whole entire career for this moment, and it's their last chance to play. So he just got us up and told us, we're capable. We know we're capable. We just need to show people. And then obviously the first half we didn't show anything, especially on the offense side of the ball. Third downs, we kept going 3 and out. And then I had the pick that was taped into the air. So we just couldn't get anything going. But we knew we have the talent. We have the players, receiving core, O-line, running back room. We're confident in ourselves, but we weren't put into action. So Quindell talked to us, kept it real with us at halftime, and then we came out and played all right the second half.
Felt great, man, just to be back with the guys. Obviously, we didn't get the result that we wanted, but it felt good to be back out there, just playing and flying around.
Coach, last week you said something that was mind-boggling to me. Every week you prepare and practice 7 different 2-point conversions. Made me think about the intricacies of game planning. What's the first thing you do each week when you start to think about the next team?
Yeah, so what are the things I do, especially as a head coach, is I go back and watch their full game of their previous opponent. So I watch it in full, offense, defense, and special teams as it's played out. So I get a feel for the opponent, right? And I think that's one of the things. Obviously, each coach, each position watches specifics, right? You may be Coach Clark and watching different sideline views and saying, okay, what are the passing concepts that this opponent likes to do? So what a lot of our coaches do is, after a Saturday game, you watch a previous opponent, you put that one away, and then you start game playing. So all Sunday night, what you do is you start to watch these things and try to get tendencies on them. What do they try to do out of this formation? What are they trying to do here? What are they trying to do there? And that way you study them. And so then it goes down as the night goes on a Sunday night and a Monday, right? Now you're breaking down the details all the way from, okay, what do they do in the red zone? What do they do on third down? And now you get to the details of the game all the way back to what kind of 2-point plays do you like versus this guy?
And talking about that, a lot of people talk about scripting. You like script of so many plays. When you look at the other teams and you think about your team, do you do a script on like, these are the first 15 plays we're going to run?
Yeah, we do. As we get later in the week, we kind of say, okay, what are the top plays as an offense that we like versus this defense, what they've shown on film. Right now, you can say, here's what we want this to look like. Now, just because it may be play 4 on the script doesn't mean it's necessarily play 4 in the game plan, but it's something that you have the ability to maybe rep a few more times that you feel comfortable and confident with, especially your offense, to say, okay, this is one of those things. Maybe this allows us to lean on it. Hey, if they give us this look, we got this. They do this, we got that. And so kind of choose your top 15. Hey, what are the top plays that we like? Every coach is different. You've heard Vandy Reed scripting his top 25 plays, Coach Norvell scripting his first 9 plays, whatever that looks like to you guys and to us to say, okay, what can we go out there and execute?
Now you're into the game. I got to ask you about halftime because everybody has different ideas. You're going to go in, give them the Gipper speech. That's really not what happens. Talk about what you do to utilize best that time.
Yeah, so first and foremost, our special teams coordinator, Coach Bankins, meets with the entire unit of special teams guys, right? The core guys. The offense and defensive coaches go and meet separately. And at that time, as an offensive coaching staff, we're going through things we like, things we don't like, adjustments we need to make, what we're seeing, how do we adjust this defensively. Hey, here's what we saw this, and our defensive staff with Coach Barnes is going over, okay, they did this, they aligned in this, how do we play this, what are some other things that we can do to change. Staffs then break up, and then you meet with your players and you discuss, hey, here's the things we're looking at in the second half, here's what we're thinking, here's our approach, here's what it needs to look like. All right, obviously about 6 minutes before halftime, you want to get them back out and get them a little bit loose and stretch. I'll bring the team up and kind of go over the things that we need to work on, right? Hey, this is what we got to do, this is what we got to do, and make sure that their energy is where it needs to be. Sometimes there's a little bit more emotion involved based off of how the game has looked, but the biggest thing is always telling those guys when they come out of the locker room, the score is 0-0, and they got a whole new 30 minutes to focus.
And speaking of the players, is there any player input in that? Like in baseball, a pitcher can shake off a catcher on a sign. Sometimes you come up with something that's on the script, but they may see something out there on the field.
Well, I think a lot of that is, trust in your quarterback, right? More so on the offensive side. We don't want our defensive guys checking the, pressures of, what the heck are they doing? Obviously, we allow them to make certain calls based off of different tendencies they see in different formations, maybe emotions, adjustments, different things that they'll see. And then offensively, if our quarterback does have a check system. So, hey, if I see this look, I have the ability to put us in this type of situation. Now, not every play is a check, but you go back to even run-pass options, right, where the play itself may be, hey, the ability to hand the ball off, the ability to pass, or maybe even keep it myself.
Now it's time for an inside look with tight ends coach Brad Salem.
Me about Salem, right? So I get some camera time,
That's right. Where's the camera? So you can smile where you're at. Act like you're working right now. There you go. That's good. I think those shoes give them at least a 4.7. Huh?
Maybe.
Those shoes give you at least a 4.7, don't they?
You feel me?
I think so.
4.59.
4.7.
That's what you're fired from the draft.
Turn. Fired from what? Go. Yeah, he's not going to get it. If you played offensive line in high school, you're not on. You can't run this play. Okay. Hey Johnny, don't neglect me here on the shield, baby. Okay?
I didn't do that.
Period 10. I'm gonna find you. You're my best shield.
Hey, if I gotta run over there,
Aaron Donald right there. They changed your number to 99 yet? Huh? Come on, Andrew. Work him on the hip. On the hip. On the hip. On the hip. Oh, I see a little football play. Hey. Duck. Might be 4.72.
One player Salem has certainly done a good job of coaching is star tight end Caden Prescore. We'll sit down with him right after the break.
You're watching The Ryan Silverfield Show, presented by AutoZone.
Welcome back to the Ryan Silverfield Show. Not many people knew the name Caden Prescore before the season. They certainly do now, but the tight end's path to stardom was an unconventional one, and now he has more reasons than ever to keep on pushing. What did your recruitment look like? What schools were coming after you? What did they envision you becoming?
At first, I thought I was going to be a Division I college quarterback, but throughout the high school process, the recruiting process, I really didn't have much. So I was still playing basketball at the time and football at the time. I was either going to go play maybe basketball somewhere or try to walk on QB to be a Division I quarterback. But I decided to go to 4th Union Military Prep School instead.
And then out of there, I really didn't have much either, and I just decided to come to Memphis.
Why?
It was just random, honestly. That was really my only chance to play college football. Besides, maybe I could have played maybe FCS, but I wanted to play Division I FBS.
The Michigan native arrived to the 901 as a quarterback, but it didn't take long for the transition to tight end to begin.
Really, as soon as I got here, they saw probably my size, and I had a basketball background. So like those two things, pretty much, that's what tight ends have. Then they had good quarterbacks here in the tight end room. It was good as a freshman, but they saw my size and my capability, and we went from there.
Making the switch required drastic differences. For one, Prieskorn was 210 pounds when he arrived at Memphis. That won't cut it at tight end. He had to bulk up fast.
A bunch. They made me eat 3 meals a day. Like as soon as I got in the morning, like lifting in the mornings, they made me eat a bunch. So I probably gained like 25, 30 pounds just my first year here. And yeah, it was a big change.
And then there's learning an entirely new position, and tight end is one of the most complex in football.
The toughest part was probably the blocking aspect. Like playing a quarterback, you're not in the trenches. You're not going against a 6'4", 250-pound D end. You're back there chilling in the pocket. But yeah, that was probably the biggest change, is putting your hand in the dirt.
The last 2 years combined, 7 catches, 79 yards. How tough was that for you to bide your time and wait for your opportunity?
Yeah, it was definitely tough because like a lot of freshmen, a lot of younger dudes think they're ready to play, but some people don't understand, like, it's better to wait your turn. But like I knew I needed more development, and I had the best tight end in school history in front of me, so you can't complain. Learning from him, learning along the way, I knew my time would come, and I just had to take advantage of my opportunity.
The departure of Sean Dykes created an opportunity for someone to emerge at tight end, and Ryan Silverfield gave us a little heads up on who that might be before the season even started.
Yeah, everybody says, well, what are you going to do to replace Sean Dykes? Sean was a prolific tight end for us, really never came off the field, was fantastic. We got a tight end named Caden Prieskorn who's played a little bit here, but it's going to be our starting tight end. I think we're going to expect a lot of big things from him.
Could you feel over the summer that your time was coming this year?
Me as an individually inside, I did, but I don't know if a lot of other people thought I could have this big of a role in the season, but it was definitely a lot of like inner self that I knew I could do it.
The moment where that came to fruition was in the second game of the year against Navy, when he scored his first collegiate touchdown.
Yeah, that was my first receiving touchdown ever in any, because I only played quarterback, so that was my first receiving touchdown ever, so it definitely brought a bunch of joy to me.
Prieskorn exploded from there, scoring 6 touchdowns in 5 games. And if you want to talk about his why, he has more than ever this year, starting with his dad.
Yeah, last year he got diagnosed with colon cancer, and that was about a year ago, Navy week. So that's definitely been difficult on me and my family, but I know with all this football stuff and me, my brothers and my sister, we're keeping him busy.
While his father's cancer battle has been difficult, a ray of sunshine in the tight end's life has been fatherhood. Prieskorn and his girlfriend have a 14-month-old little boy.
Yeah, my son Mac, yeah, he's another reason why I go so hard. He's the best thing in the world. He's the cutest little boy in the world, but yeah, he's special. He's my world now, so like everything evolves around him, not just me.
Between his father's battle and raising a little piece of him, Prieskorn's perspective on football and life has drastically changed.
I feel like in every aspect in life, it's made me change my thought process and made me even go harder. Like I knew like this off season, like just thinking those two things in the back of my mind the whole time just made me just change everything. And it's definitely been a lot, but I know I'll get through this.
His success is something that's even sweeter because of who he gets to enjoy it with.
Yeah, I'm not really an individual person. I'm a team person. So like sharing with the team, my team, my girlfriend, my little baby, my family, my brothers and sisters, my mom and dad, it meant a lot.
He plans on his future involving football no matter what.
Probably, I want to go to the NFL, but if not, I want to coach. I got to stay around the game of football because I feel like that's what I'm meant to do.
One of the great stories this year is the kid they call Woody, the young man who was a quarterback when he first came here. We're talking tight end Caden Prieskorn.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's been phenomenal. We knew what he was, but it's been fun to watch his development over the last 3 years. You came here as a quarterback, had no idea how to block, hadn't played a whole lot of catch other than him throwing the football as a quarterback in high school, but coming here, growing to his own. Now we're talking about a 6'6", 260-pound tight end that can do it all. He can block, he can catch, he's smooth in his route running, he's a great communicator. It's been phenomenal to watch his development. He's been a star for us this year so far.
And it's really something that come from a player like a Sean Dykes, who really is more of an H-back kind of player. Now you have more of a traditional tight end. You have to kind of change your offensive philosophy with a player like that.
Well, a little bit. The nice thing is, Sean, you're exactly right. Sean was 6'1", 220 pounds, soaking wet. Now all of a sudden you got a bigger target. And so, early in the season, Caden was a big-time red zone target for us, and now we'll be able to see him being used all over the field. And I think that's important. It allows your quarterback to have great faith in him and everything he's doing, but it also allows him as a true on-the-ball tight end to be able to line up in the core, be able to come off the ball and block some of those defensive ends.
The quarterback-tight end relationship is really starting to blossom here now.
That's one of the things, right? We talked about, Seth's relationship with all of his guys that have the ability to catch the ball, and I think, him and Caden's relationship has continued to grow, but then also that trust that, hey, here's a big target where I know where I can get it. And I think part of Caden playing quarterback at one point has the understanding, hey, this is what our quarterback's thinking. Maybe this will allow me to get open on the route concept.
How did you get Caden Prescorn? How do you hear about this guy?
We've been very fortunate. We talk about all the wonderful walk-ons that have come through here, and he's another one that shows up and you sit there and say, well, I don't know if he runs well enough. I don't know if he's, if he's got the frame. And then you just trust the process and just say, okay, hey, you're going to go live in the weight room. This is what you got to do. And, he's one of those that's been patient with it. So many of these guys come in and, I need to do this, I need to do that, and become impatient with their play time. But instead, he's been one of those guys that's bought into the way they got to do things and be able to step up. So we'll take as many walk-ons like that as we can find.
Don't call it an off week. There's still certainly plenty to be accomplished on the bye. We'll sit down with Coach Silverfield to discuss that. Coming up next.
You're watching The Ryan Silverfield Show, presented by AutoZone. Let's take a look at the AutoZone road ahead.
So now we get to bye week. Usually it's a needed rest period. How will you utilize this one?
It's a perfect time for everybody to kind of catch their breath, but there really is no such thing as catching your breath in college football. Our coaching staff will hit out the road recruiting for some days and obviously go look at some prospects, be able to watch some practices, watch some guys play, and then we're going to use the middle of the week to actually get better as a football team, right? To continue to practice. We're going to practice Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday and find ways to improve. We're going to get some of our younger guys some more reps that haven't had the ability to maybe show up or showcase themselves on Saturdays and allow them to get some reps.
Speaking of going out on the road recruiting, are you looking for specific needs, say like more speed at wide receiver, running back, or is it just an overall picture?
Well, a lot of times we'll look at guys that are committed to us, and obviously nobody's official until they actually sign that national letter of intent and enroll in classes. So we'll go look at some of those guys, go watch them play. The guys that are committed. We always do look at specific needs for what we need with the roster, but we talked about roster management all the time here. It's like, okay, hey, this may be a need, but obviously that could change come December.
That was tonight's AutoZone Road Ahead. AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination and official sponsor of Tiger Athletics. Get in the zone, AutoZone.
It is amazing how many things coaches can get in on an off week. We'll put an end to this one in just a minute.
You're watching The Ryan Silverfield Show, presented by AutoZone.
It may be an off week, but we're still working. We'll see you late night next Sunday for another edition of The Ryan Silverfield Show.
The Ryan Silverfield Show is presented by AutoZone. Next time you need a car battery, just pick it up. Visit AutoZone.com and select same-day store pickup. Just one reason why AutoZone is America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone, AutoZone. And by Conway Services, official HVAC partner of Tiger Athletics. Chick-fil-A, we didn't invent the chicken, just the chicken sandwich. RJ Young, technology solutions that power your business. Tennessee Lottery, turning dollars into dreams. This copyrighted telecast is an exclusive presentation of Learfield under the broadcasting rights granted by the University of Memphis. Reuse of this presentation is prohibited without the expressed written consent of the University of Memphis and Learfield.